What is going on? Welcome back to the channel. So today we're going to talk to you about 𝗪𝗓𝗧 Health. They dropped some pretty kick-ass news this morning. Despite that though, it's actually pulling back. So I want to go over some of the data points, break it down on what's really moving it, and go over everything else you need to know. But first, make sure you guys hit that thumbs up. And with that, let's get right to it. So it is down 1.53%, 55.54 the low, 67.37 the high. So this is a crazy volatile stock. You are seeing at the same time a lot of volume, 84 million shares being traded, 51 is the average. Once I go over the options, that volume is insane. But you did have HIMS put out news this morning, and that was 𝗪𝗓𝗧 announces plans to acquire ZAVA, accelerating major European growth across the UK, Germany, France, and Ireland. So not only does this really help establish HIMS in a lot of key places like the UK, but ZAVA does have a pretty strong base. So they have 1.3 million active customers. That's key, active. And not only that though, this deal technically adds probably tens of millions of dollars to their TAM. So that's huge for just future growth. So all in all, this is good. Only problem is 𝗪𝗓𝗧, like Wall Street already prior to this announcement, struggled with the current evaluation of it. So this is where I think Wall Street's somewhat torn. Even though we've seen a lot of other companies, such as more notably Palantir, really pave the way for innovative companies kind of having defying logical evaluations, 𝗪𝗓𝗧 still is struggling. So I think Wall Street will eventually warm up to the idea that this is going to be a very big deal. I don't know if it's going to be like a $200-300 stock as what a lot of people on social media are saying. That's where you have to kind of take all that with a grain of salt. But when it comes down to it, oddly enough, what triggered all of this pullback was data. So this morning we did have the JOLT numbers, so both openings and quits, both came in a little bit better than anticipated. So in general, that's a very good thing. Inverse type of scenario, that does really hinder the likelihood of future cuts. Market doesn't seem to care all that much right now about that, but maybe that could be one attributing factor what caused and prompted institutions to start selling HIMS. So let me know your viewpoint on that. One thing though I do want to bring up, so I brought up the volume already, but majority of the volume that is being done today is actually institutions trading it rather than algorithmic trading. So I like to see that even if it is institution selling, I like to see them kind of involved. Algorithmic trading, in my opinion, is just hollow, manipulative in many cases, but these are all the transactions occurring on the secondary market. So a lot of big buying, a lot of strings of selling at the same time, again, a lot of which did prompt because of this data. So let me know your viewpoint on why that would be. But these are all the transactions occurring on the dark pool. So fairly popular, a lot of which is used by shorts and other large entities. So yeah, it's another heavy volume day, as you can kind of see through all of this. So we're sitting at probably around 550 transactions on the dark pool alone. But a lot of people are saying that HIMS is due for a squeeze, and that's actually what caused this right here. And that's not necessarily accurate, only because currently there is shorts are increasing 375,000 shares, 31.58% of the free float is being shorted. That works out to be 61.48 million shares. Cost per average fairly low, and that is 0.56%. But if we kind of look at here at this teal line, shorts didn't really do anything up until basically it looks like they did increase a small amount, still not all that much, but they did increase, which again, by them increasing adds selling pressure right around here. So they weren't the culprit for this. They are kind of doubling down for whatever reason right here. And I feel like they're trying to bring it down on a technical level. But all in all, I like to bring this up on a side note, and that is through IBKR, there is 3.4 million shares available to be shorted. So if shorts really did feel like it was overvalued due to pullback, there's more than enough ammunition for them to double down. So the fact that they're not, I see that as relatively optimistic. You might disagree. You do your own whatever floats your boat. But moving over to options, you are seeing a heavy volume day, 101 million in calls, 29 million in puts, 47% of all the options being bearish in nature though. Most of that was done in the first little bit right here. So as it was kind of at its peak. So institutions clearly were betting against it, but you're seeing 130 million in total premiums. So most likely we'll land around that 180 range. And yeah, that's crazy amounts. And so you did see on May the 6th, there was 210 million. And then aside from that, the second highest was 179. So today is going to be most likely the second heaviest option day dollar value. So pretty good to see. Based on the bulls, you see a consensus for it to be roughly around that $70 range for the most part. So clearly people are optimistic about a nice recovery and push higher. A lot of other data points the rest of the week could really justify that. On a side note, bears are anticipating for it to be sub roughly $55. And given that's basically where we're at now, that does mean that there is a lot more upside than down, in my opinion. Again, I could be wrong. You do whatever floats your boat, but right now with it at 55 and change, it is trading between this R1 and the pivot. So 51.49 is going to be a strong support, and then 64.43 followed by 72.42 is going to be the next strong target / resistance points. Very wide gaps, as you can kind of tell, and this is why single-handedly HIMS is extremely volatile. So again, just kind of watch for these. So if you're looking to average down or whatever, just maybe orient it around that 51.49. But again, do whatever floats your boat. There was a couple new ratings that did come out today though, so that's obviously influencing the price. So you did have Bank of America, Allen, give a $28 price target, 42. That was done by Michael, and then a $30 sell, Citi. And so even though you had one hold and two sells, it's substantially lower than where it actually is trading at right now. So this is why it's pulling back. So Wall Street definitely does struggle with valuations for HIMS, no different than Palantir. So kind of a weird scenario as I've brought up, but as a consensus over the last 3 months, 41.73 is that price target, representing a 25% downside. So a lot of volatility in the foreseeable future is kind of planned. So let me know your thoughts on that in the comments below. So even though it is pulling back on the actual chart itself, things are still pretty a-okay. So super trend is sitting at that 47.88. So that's going to be a key one to really watch for, at least in the short term. If it does break below that, then the overall trend is kind of pulling lower. You have the 50, 100-day moving average and 200. So it's currently above all of those, and most likely, at least for the foreseeable future, it will. Looking on here though at the stochastic RSI, it is mind-blowingly oversold. So again, that could really stand to benefit it in the next couple of trading days. So let me know your thoughts on HIMS. Do you feel like this pullback or this crazy volatile swing right here is justified? Do you still think it is a squeeze play? And why do you feel, because I honestly don't really see that many negatives with this news that came out, why do you think that this is causing analysts to give somewhat bearish ratings? So what's your general viewpoint on HIMS? Don't forget to hit that thumbs up and subscribe. And then one final thing, pop over to my Patreon and get buy signals on stocks, options, crypto, many of which are absolutely on point, even including this one that is up 330%. So a lot of big ones, a lot of good day trades, swing trades. So definitely worthwhile to pop over there and take a look. With all that said, appreciate all of you watching.